What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this week's Motion Monday. This week we're going to talk to you about 3 baits you need to find fish this summer during those deep offshore spots. So we're going to help you break that down. One of the first baits that we are going to choose is going to be a big 10 or 12 inch worm. Really only 3 colors that we kind of use and go by. So that could be a starting point for you. We like a watermelon with red flake, plum or purplish color, and then black and blue. We'll utilize the plum and watermelon red for those sunny, bluebird days, and we'll utilize the black and blue during the overcast, kind of darker days. For kind of line rod reel setup to throw that on, anything that's a 7 foot to 7.4 medium heavy fast action, we're using an Avid X St. Croix rod for that. We've got that teamed up with a Lew's Tournament Pro and a 7.3-to-1. And then we've also got a 5/0 worm offset hook, a 1/2 ounce Swagger tungsten no chip weight, and we also have that pegged. The reason we like to have a pegged weight is most of the time when we're fishing this application, we're fishing brush piles, so specific spots on those points. And when we're fishing those brush piles, I want to know where my worm is at all times. So when I come over a limb with that weight, I want that worm to follow. That way, when I know I get that bite, I know exactly where it's at in that brush pile. I can set the hook and get the fish out of that. For line, we're going to start with 15-pound Seaguar InvizX. From there, we'll bump up to 17 or 20-pound, depending on the water clarity or what type of cover we're fishing. But most of the time, we're going to stick with 15-pound test. For the second rod, of course, being a jig company, we're going to be throwing a football jig. We're going to use a 3/4 ounce most of the time during this year. That way we can get that down deeper, keep bottom contact with that bait. This is also going to be a bait where we want to present a larger profile. We're going to go ahead and thread on a full trailer, again creating that bigger profile bait, an easier meal for those bass. Same with this, anything 7.4 is a good size for that medium heavy fast action. You can bump up to that heavy size. 17 to 20-pound Seaguar InvizX fluorocarbon. We've got that paired with an 8-to-1 reel. That's just going to allow you to pick up that slack line. That longer rod on those far casts is going to allow you to get that better hook set. So make sure you're using the right rod when you're making those long casts with that bait. The third option we're going to use is going to be a crankbait, which we've got in our Calcos bait sack here. We love putting our crankbaits, anything that's got a bunch of treble hooks in these bait sacks. Just keeps your rod organizer organized and safe, keeps everything from tangling together, but the bait just slides right out of there. We're going to be throwing a deep diver. This is Little John DD, your Rapala DT22s, anything that dives down to that 20-foot range, your 6XD, those are going to be great options. Most of the time we're going to be throwing that on 12-pound Seaguar AbrazeX. We might bump up to 15-pound as well. Always change out your hooks. We use KVD triple grips. It allows you to bump up that size so you can get away with a bigger hook. And you're gonna have, sharper and just get that better penetration. For rod reel setup with that, I use a Mojo medium heavy. It's a 7/8 and it's got that moderate action. That moderate action really allows that rod to load up and that fish to grab a hold of that bait and gives you that play you need when you're fighting that fish so they're not able to throw those hooks. For your reel, anything that's a 5/4-to-1 or a 6/4-to-1 is going to be a great option. That's going to allow you to work that bait at the proper speed but also not wear you out all day. So take these 3 setups, take them to some deep points, really work anywhere from that 8 to 22-foot range to figure out where those fish are living, and then you can pattern that and kind of run that all over the lake. We're going to be focused in on those points, that main lake stuff this time of the year, those main river channel ledges, so any points, humps, drops, ledges, those are going to be places to key on. Look for that isolated cover within those spots, and then bait is also a key factor as well. Guys, Please comment your favorite offshore baits to use, your 3 favorite summer baits. Please share this video if you found it helpful, and be sure and drop us a like. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Motion Monday.